Welcome to Dr. Jester Friends, and I'm gonna rant about this. From Tech Raptor. War Thunder mired in controversy after advertiser sponsors pro-Russian militants. Well, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that, as they said in the article, it was the fault of the advertising company. But, knowing Gaijin Entertainment, which they are very, very pro-Russia, it gives me a bit of a doubt in their argument. Mostly because when you play the game, which is a filthy fucking grind fest, and it's annoyingly difficult to grind vehicles, and it's a pay-to-win system. And to the point, I used to play it a lot. I love the system, the more realistic approach in comparison to World of Tanks or World of Airplanes or World of Warships. But the amount of grinding was miserable. But even more so was the logic behind some of the damage systems. For instance, you would think that a plane made of... Okay, I'm spitting. You would think that a plane made of tarp, of a filthy fucking tarp, would be more flammable than a plane made of aluminum, or aluminium if you're from the UK. You would think that a tarp would catch fire more rapidly, but turns out that's not quite the case in the Russian or in the Gaijin development brains, or developers' brains. This is what I'm telling you about. For instance, you're firing and you see a Russian plane, you fire it with your, with the flammable, with flammable bullets that causes... I forgot the name, don't judge me! Incendiary, there you go, incendiary bullets. And you would think the airplane would catch fire and break down quite rapidly. But that's not the case. But if you do the same thing, you fire to the same airplane that you're firing, the same type of ammo, and the plane catches fire more rapidly. That makes absolutely no sense. Even if you hit the goddamn fucking fuel tanks of the airplane, it still doesn't catch fire on the Russian variants. At least, it does catch fires, but the probability is much lower than those of aluminum variant. And usually the Russian planes or Russian equipment are much better than they really are in real life in this shitty game. And even more so, they nerf a few equipments from the western side so they can match up to the Russian variant. For instance, did you know that most tanks in the Russian arsenal did not even have a fucking radio? But in this game, all Russian tanks have radios. Did you know that, for instance, the T-34 was coming out so fast out of the factories that they did not even have time or desire to do any finishing touches to the tank. So in most instances, for instance, the stuff inside the driver would get itself killed by a design or badly built things inside the tank, and the driver, for instance, would die and force and step on the controls, and the tank will keep rushing towards the German line, towards the German line. And many of the Germans thought that the Russians were courageous. No, in fact, the driver of the Russian tank died, or everybody inside the tank died, and that was just the body pressing on the accelerator of the tank's controls, and the tank kept going, because of how badly made those pieces of shit were. And this is also true for the developers of World of Tanks, World of Warships, and etc. Wargaming. They absolutely have to exaggerate or trying to cover up the flaws of the Russian-made shitty equipment. And here you have it. More evidence of that. Let's go. to the article. Advertising for Gaijin Entertainment War Thunder and Crossout has appeared in a pro-Russian military videos on YouTube. The developer says that these ads are the work of an external advertising agency and that he didn't have any creative input on them. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt on this, but knowing their history and knowing how they defend pro-Russian equipment and how they are very pro-Russian, I'm gonna take that with a tiny little pinch of salt, if you'll excuse me. Anyway, the news comes via Ukrainian military news platform mil.in.ua. In an article, I'll probably have to check it out, but don't want to dox myself, not yet, says Gaijin Entertainment is buying advertising integration in videos made by pro-Russian rebels Donetsk People's Republic, or Krupno-Kaliberny Perepolokov, which translates roughly as large bore mayhem. Is a YouTube channel showing the illegal testing of weaponry and vehicles supplied to occupying forces in Ukraine by Russia. Initially, I thought this was just some random ad being played on certain YouTube channels, and I initially thought this was a nothing burger, was Tech Raptor doing exactly what New York Times did, and that caused the apocalypse in YouTube, but turns out that's not quite true. Ads for War Thunder appear during the video, while the game's logo can also be seen stenciled on certain equipment in some videos. The images below, courtesy of mil.in.ua, show the War Thunder and Crossout logos appearing in the videos, as well as in interstitial advertising for War Thunder. One of the weapons tested on the channel is a PMN-2 mine, a weapon ban under the 1997 Ottawa Treaty, which Russia never signed. And this is where it dashed that theory of mine, that it was mostly making a storm in a teacup or something like that. In which it was just random ads showing up on this YouTube monetizing stuff and things like that, but no, they actually added stencil and things like that on inside the video, so there goes the theory. As you can see here, Crossout, you can see it on the vehicle. And then apparently there's an also in the same video and an ad inside. Let's go on to the article. The political situation in the Ukrainian Oblast of Donetsk, where the Krupno-Kaliberny Perepolokov YouTube channel is based, is volatile. A thorough history of the conflict would take a long time to recount, but in essence a self-proclaimed state backed by Russia, the Donetsk People's Republic is currently engaged in conflict with Ukraine. The conflict is at a stalemate right now with no full resolution in sight as of yet. Imagine if people actually did that inside Russian territory. Will the Russians accept it? Of course not. We reached out to Gaijin Games for a comment about this story. The developer had this to say. This is where I think it's gonna take a bit of a grain of salt, because it doesn't feel very honest and it feels pretty crass, but it's as if they're doing a favor or something like that. Let's take a look, shall we?
We do not provide political support to anyone anywhere. We know nothing about politics and prefer to stay out of it. Our agency that ordered an end in the video in question took it down when they realized they might drag us into a political discussion. We have nothing more to comment regarding this.
Okay, that's probably not a good voice.
We prefer to talk about games and games only.
Despite this response, stencils bearing in War Thunder and Crossout logos seemed harder to explain than simple interstitial advertising. We asked Gaijin for clarification on the aspect of this story. In response, Gaijin said it wasn't involved in the creative process behind those ads in any way. The studio said it pays for various kinds of advertisements, including interstitial ads and integrations, but it doesn't actually oversee the execution. According to Gaijin, the process whether the interstitial ads or integrated ad content works completely the same way. Gaijin said it was the decision of the content creator to include stencils bearing the logos in the aforementioned videos. Well, obviously, giving them the benefit of the doubt in this, but somehow I still think it's not quite there yet. Somehow I don't think they are being quite forthcoming, and I think they were aware of this, especially behind the history behind Gaijin. And to think I used to admire them, because they took the IL-2 Sturmovik, the game for PC, ported it out to consoles, improved it graphically, and it made it quite good. And then they went on to the MMO type venture, and you already know, I've explained at the beginning of this video what happened. War Thunder was born and things like that happened. And you know how bad it is because of the grinding and the Russian equipment stuff that goes on. So this is kind of a, I don't know. I want to believe that they are telling the truth, but at the same time, it doesn't quite feel like it. It doesn't feel like true. Let's take a look at the Ukrainian website. Let's see if I'm doxing myself. No. So I think we are good to show it to you. Here we go. Here you can see more pictures of it. I'm not gonna go. Okay. I cannot speak Russian. We can see more pictures in here. Interesting. So it's pretty Slavic. Quite interesting. So a lot of T-72s, 62s. Apparently it's a pastime within the Soviet bloc to modify T-72s. I wonder if they made a fridge out of a T-72. Those things are pretty common. Alright, consists of 2 white stripes which are painted with green paint for the YouTube video. Comparison, they are doing a research, quite interesting. Interesting. And damage T-64, which is also an upgraded version of the T-62. Was placed at the range of combatants training. Oh, it's snow. Oh, what a gear for some snow right now. Another interesting bit in regards to Russian tanks is that they were never designed for survivability, or not that much, because they viewed the people who get in those tanks as discardable, or people who can be easily replaced. Only later on, with that they kind of try to improve on that. Oh, and they also require people to be smaller because of the tank size. Either way, they never actually cared much about survival, so that's why they made so many tanks. Their entire belief is that the human crew was replaceable, so people were discardable, like I said. Either way, let's keep going. Here we can see more tanks. Oh, the mines that they said. The PN2 Banner Automat Treaty. We can see here. Oh, so an injury was never signed by Russia, which continued. Okay, it's in Russian. I cannot speak for that. An Ukrainian citizen was killed by a PN2 mine in February 2020 in the vicinity of Pionarsk village occupied by combatants. The War Thunder. Yes, more images. I think that's about it. Like I said, it's doubtful. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And now your reward for watching my video. So, did you get moist? Because I'm definitely moist right now. Dun 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 dun. Anyway, don't forget to hit the notification bell button so you know when to get moist. And with that being said, I think the most important bit is now. Well, it was before with me getting moist, but either way, you get it.